everybody, and welcome to Night and Day. I'm Natasha, and I just wanted to chit chat. I don't have any notes. This is like a episode that I did on my podcast, so I'm gonna do it with you too, and I'm just basically gonna talk about, my philosophy on the Creator, and basically I'm gonna jump right into it. We all have like our different sects and units, religions, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes like people tend to be like, well, my religion's better or my cult, whatever you want to call it, is better than yours. And I just wanted to basically say like in reality, if you think about it, we all have a God. But there is more than one God. Because you have the Christians, they follow Jesus. You have the Muslims, they follow Allah. You have the Hindus, um, that basically follow the teachings of Krishna. And then you have like other gods that come from like, Greek mythology, like Zeus, Hades, even like in African traditions, like the Egyptians when they used to follow, you know, Ra and Tahuti and etc. And that's like a perfect example of like our creator. Not only did our creator create us, but our creator itself has a creator and so on. And and it just keeps going. And in that process, we are to basically are supposed to like evolve and become creators. And that's like the story in which like what is that it's an Indian story. It comes from the Hindus tradition. I want to say the name, but I don't want to say it name. I don't want to say the name wrong, but it's basically saying that our creator created us in its own image through meditation, basically through thought. And the whole point of our creation is so that our creator can figure itself out, which is fascinating. That's like me or anybody else creating things. Like we create things now. You have people, they paint, they have different types of hobbies. They play basketball, they hike up mountains, they travel, and all of this is things that we create. We make changes. We make things different through our thoughts. Everything that you think about is basically you creating something. That's like um, an architect. An architecture, what does he do? He draws architecture and designs of different buildings. And once he has that blueprint, he basically gets a team of people. And based off of that blueprint, what does he do? He builds a building. That's basically him creating his design, his art through his thoughts. And that's basically what our Creator has done with us. And it's infinite and it just keeps on going. It doesn't end. It's not going to stop. So that is just my thought and my philosophy on the creator, our creator, and what we're here, what we're meant to do in that process of evolution. We're meant to be creators too, just as well as our creator became a creator, and whoever created our creator after that, and then that created that creator. It just never ends. Like there's always somebody, you know, creating something at the end of the day. We didn't just come here out of the thin sky. It doesn't work that way. It's an infinite change. It keeps going and it's never gonna end. It's also too like my son, he used to have like this, like, those little toys, and it's like a little ball. It's made out of like plastic, and then when you slowly open it, it expands into like a bigger ball, but it's made out of plastic, like some kind of connect design. So that's basically like a great example of the expansion of creation. It just keeps expanding and it doesn't stop. And so yeah, that was just my thoughts, and I just wanted to like chit chat about that and stuff, and just basically say like and we're all basically in the right path. Even like people that practice different religions, they're in the right path. It's just that they're following a different type of God. And if you think about it, it's all the same. It's just a different culture, which there's nothing wrong about that. The Hindus call their God Krishna. The Christians call their God Jesus. The Muslims, they call their God Allah. And basically, like, all of these different, like, religions, they're all talking about the same God. It just has different languages, in a different format. But none is better than the other, you know, especially like when it comes to culture, With somebody else's culture practice, that's, their culture. That's their understanding of what they see and how they see their God, basically. And you can't knock that. The best thing to do is to study other cultures and their religion and their way of thinking. That's what I do. Like, I study other people's culture. I like to read about other people's cultures. And, that's what we should do. That's what we think is like basically like you have an understanding. You got to step outside your box, you know, and get to know the other things, the other persons and stuff, and how they see basically their cultures and their beliefs and their religion. And then once you like expand that knowledge, yeah, kind of have like a more grounded foundation on your spirituality, you know. So and then like also too, like, who's to say like all the religions in the world weren't, you know, one at one time, and they basically like separated each other. One decided to like, you know, build this tribe and call it Christianity, and one decided to like build this tribe and call it like, Islam and stuff, and so on. So I have like some more, like, I'll talk some more about different like religions and stuff, cause it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, like, um, especially like I like with me, like I study like Hinduism and Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Hebrew, and you're basically supposed to like study all of those because religion, basically, at the end of the day, is a study. It's not just a religion; it's a study. You are supposed to study religion, and you are supposed to, if you can, take all of those different types of religion and incorporate it into your life. You don't take all of it, but you take whatever is essential to you, the bits and pieces of it, and you say like, oh, okay, I get that. I think I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna utilize that in my day to day practices and stuff. Like with Islam, when they pray, they're basically meditating. That's a form of meditation. Prayer is meditation at the end of the day. So, and then like also too, like with the Hinduism, which is great to like study that, and Buddhism, because they're very spiritual. But then also like it just goes back to like Africa, like with the Dogon religion and the Yoruba religion, which is like old. It's like older than all of the world's religion. It's like, and then there's like uh, an ancient like race of people before the Dogons and the Yoruba that go back as far as like millions of years ago that were on the face of this earth practicing. You know, I wouldn't even say practicing. It was who they were and stuff. So I kind of like want to chit chat about that and what I think of the Creator and why the Creator created us, basically to get to know itself. And that's what we do. We create things to get to know ourselves, and it's basically a form of like personality. Like, oh, okay, this is my personality. It's kind of cool. I can swing with that. So, kind of like wanted to talk about that because I love talking about spirituality. I kind of like get it from my parents. You know, they always used to talk about it to me. Like when I did African dance class, and my mother had me, and like she was like keeping me busy. Um, we were staying at the Y, and I used to love staying there, because my mother didn't want to get like an apartment, so we wound up like renting a room at the Y. It was like kind of like living in a mansion, because you like had like this big old giant building, and they had a gym and a swimming pool. But anyway, yeah, I used to take African dance and karate class, and both teachers used to make us stretch and meditate before we did any activities. And my karate teacher, was Buddhist, and I was I asked my mother about it, because I was liking it, and I was just like, oh, I was like, can I, get into that? And my mother was just like, that'd probably be about the greatest thing for you because they practice peace and meditation. And my mother, she meditated a lot and stuff. She basically stayed to herself. But yeah, I kind of like got into it with that. And then my father used to always talk to me about Kemet and all different types of spiritual teachings that were taught in Kemet, not only in Kemet, but out here in the Americas. Because we have history. Black people have history over here. Especially like black people. Like there are black people, I'm not knocking Africa. There are black people that were born in Africa, but I'm talking about, black people that were born out here in America. Like we have history here in America, and these our history out here in America are the Native Americans, like the Blackfoot, which I'm Blackfoot, and West Indian, and then you have other black people that are like Iroquois Indian, Cherokee Indian, my cousin's Mohegan Indian, and these Indians are descendants of the Incas and the Aztecs, and they've been on this planet as long as the Kemites. They just been over here in the Americas for some reason, A lot of people don't know about that, and it's a damn shame. But yeah, so black people need to start getting into more the history over here in the Americas and come to understand their spirituality and their ancestors over here, because not everybody came from Africa in that boat now. If you think about it, they didn't have that type of technology, because before they were African slaves, there was Indian slaves. Mind you, they slaved the Native Americans before the Africans even came over here. So let's just be real about it. And then even to also, going back to Africa with Hebrew and the Jewish religion, that belongs to Africa. I mean, and if anybody knows anything about the history of Jerusalem, Jerusalem was always a state of Africa. It always was a part of Africa up until, if anybody knows, in 19 between like 1971, 1970, 1971, our U.S. government went over to Jerusalem and dug a canal to separate Jerusalem from Africa. But I'm not gonna go into too much details. I'll go into that later when I start talking about the Kabbalah and the clip off, because it all belongs to Africa over there in that stack. And then out here in Americas, we have our spiritualities and our belief in the Creator and becoming one. Like everybody all over the world practices this. If you step outside of religion, and I'm not saying forget about religion, but religion is like that foundation, and you step outside of that, because you have to graduate. You are supposed to graduate, and you are supposed to graduate into the next learning system of spirituality, because it's infinite, and religion is a part of that. It's a study, and it explains that. If you like read like religious texts like the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, if you can read it right and you can read in between the lines, it will tell you and it will explain spirituality, explaining the body. It just gave it names. So, and it's basically telling you that you are supposed to at one time evolve, consciously, and go through your transformation, and mentally, go through that ascension, and raise that vibration, so that way you later on down the road gain that knowledge and that wisdom and break into that subconscious thought and stuff and be abundant. Now, I'm not talking abundant with finances. I'm talking abundant in knowledge and wisdom through spirituality and, conscious thought and vibrational growth and stuff, and expanding your horizons upward into the cosmos. That type of abundance. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. And, happy quarantine, everybody. Be safe and stay healthy. Peace.